Hey, everybody, welcome to Bubbles with Bethany. We had to take a little bit of a
Hi,
bubbles
Carrie.
break. So, hi. So, thank you for being patient with us. And I'm going to let everybody come on. Just make sure if you are unmuted to mute yourself until you're ready to ask a question. I will give you guys a chance to ask the amazing Rob questions, but I got to go first because it's my show. It's in the name. So I want everybody to raise their glass, please, to our wonderful guest. And I learned it just to make sure I was saying it right just now, Rob Abasolo, thank you, who is one of the OGs of Bigger Pockets, who I thought, oh my gosh, I thought I froze just now. One of the Bigger Pockets OGs. He has got a
Oh,
YouTube channel where he
did I
teaches,
lose sound? Sorry.
am I frozen? No, where he teaches folks all about short-term rentals, tiny homes, unique living spaces, raw built on YouTube. You definitely want to check him out. Also on Instagram. He's been a real estate investor since, well, what, in the short-term rental space since 2017, right? And now you're in all kinds of things, which one of my passions, boutique hotels. So you'll get a chance to talk all about that. Rob, cheers to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Cheers. Sorry if you like teed me up and then I went silent. The sound went out, but I'm here. I'm ready.
Hey, that's all right.
I haven't had dinner yet, so the more of this I have, the more impactful the answers become.
I love
Uh,
that. Yes, I love that. And you can have a liquid dinner. It'll just be like college again.
that's right.
That's what
Exactly.
you're
A
talking
little
about.
callback, as we call it in the industry.
Exactly. I will switch my view to speaker view so that Jade does not murder me. There we go. Now I can see your face. I love it. Rob, I really appreciate you joining us tonight, and everyone's going to get a chance to ask you all kinds of questions about your
Great.
wonderful real estate experience because everybody on here is interested in real estate investing because that's who pays attention to us. But before we even get to that, the thing I really like to find out about people is I always talk about leveraging OPE, other people's everything. But to do that, you really need to know what's your lane before you know what other people you need. And that means you need to know what is your unique superpower. So besides making the fastest, best old fashioned in the West, what
Yes.
is your unique superpower?
Man, I would say I am creative. Honestly, I am a very creative real estate investor that kind of manifests in a bunch of different ways, but I love building unique spaces, tiny places, and everything in between. I love building one of a kind experiences. And I love kind of going all out on creating like a curated experience that someone remembers. And that's why I've always been attracted to the short term rental side of things, because for me, I just like helping someone create memories in my property. I often read reviews of people that say they proposed at my property, or they taught their kid how to make a fire in my fireplace, or they made memories, cozied up to the fire on Christmas. Like that kind of stuff really hits home for me. And so I'm just always looking for like really creative ways to try new things, to break into properties, to break into the industry. That's kind of been my whole thing since I got started was, yeah, leveraging other people's everything to kind of build my own portfolio.
I love it. Okay, and creativity will take you a long way. In this market, I think where everything's changing constantly and the ability to adapt and pivot and be creative, I think has probably, correct me if I'm wrong, lent to your success,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Previous to being a real estate investor, I was a creative copywriter. So I used to work at ad agencies, and I wrote copy for Gatorade, for Sonic, for Old Smoky Moonshine, Wiener Schnitzel, Hyundai. And I was a writer. That's my trade. And that's really a skill that, even though I don't work in advertising anymore, I quit my 9 to 5 about 3 years ago. Very thankful that I did it because I've got super thick skin as a result. In advertising, you're typically told that your ideas suck. As a content creator, I'm usually told that my content sucks. But all in all, to say, like, I'm really thankful for being very good at this marketing thing, and that's kind of where the creative fuel has really come from, was from the years that I was in the ad space.
Well, and I've been watching your content and I think it does not suck. So for
Thank you.
whatever
Thank you.
that's worth, it does not suck. And you're right. I think being creative, especially when everybody listens to influencers more, having that creative content is also a really good way to get your projects moving ahead as well.
Mhm.
So I think
Totally.
in this day and age, I think you have to be a little bit creative or have somebody who's creative on your team. Jade, my shout out to Jade, my creative, and Kaylee. um, I think it's really important to have those people on your team, and it's wonderful that you are. So, so your passion and your superpower is being creative. How do you leverage that into you also being, because I assume you're the visionary of this whole
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
How do you leverage that in sort of the leading the team, right? I mean, I'm hoping you're not in the weeds of all the things at this point, but if you are, of course, let us know. We're all honest here.
Yeah, I'm probably more in the weeds than I need to be, but I have kind of two really big businesses. I have real estate, and then I have like my education business. And for each of those, I have a COO who's effectively like the integrator of each one. And it is really hard. I mean, being a visionary is like a blessing and a curse because I'm really happy to like have vision and to know what I want, but it's also like I just want everything. Like I just love making things and I'm always like, ooh, this. And my team's like, all right, hold on, slow down. We have to do this one thing. So I think what's really important for me as a visionary is like, and this is what I've always been thankful about with my wife is she's kind of the tether that keeps me attached to the spaceship. Otherwise, I would float off in space chasing every planet. And a good COO is kind of the same way where they're like, hey, love that about you. And I love that. But we need to kind of rein you in a little bit because otherwise, I'm in Candyland every day, all day, just thinking up new ideas. So it's like one of those things where I'm still kind of reining it in. And I think I often do operate. I often am in the weeds of my own business too. It's kind of like a tricky balance because we're pretty lean as a team. If I could have it my way, I would have like 10 more employees, but I just don't do that now. And so as a result, it does require me to work a little bit, but a little bit more, but I also have to be able to rein in my own vision and creativity and kind of like understand that yeah, every new vision I have kind of takes away from the vision before it.
Yes, understood. And it is, you're right. It's always good to have that tether, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's at home or on the team or both, to keep you from flying off. And I know sometimes that can be frustrating for you as the visionary, but you
Yeah.
know, I think,
Yeah.
but I think we need that, right? So you have built up this amazing following. You've built up this really cool career, and really cool concepts and these unique living spaces, all towards building your version of your empire. And the conversation that I like to have with people is, it's a passion of mine to help people create conscious wealth. And when I say those words, I find everybody has a different meaning for that, what conscious wealth means to them. And so I I part of the reason I started this show is so I could ask everybody I know, what does that mean to them? Because I learn something new every single time. And so I'm going to ask you the same question: is what does conscious wealth mean to you?
That's a great question. I've never heard the term, but I can already tell you, like, I think I know what it is. So I've actually been thinking about this a lot. Um, Really a lot over the last couple of months, but over the last like 2 or 3 weeks. And it's kind of like for me, I really work to build a lot of wealth and build good cash flow. And I think like I don't know. I think there's a certain like everybody just wants to make money, but they don't really stop and realize that there's sort of a cap on like how happy money actually makes you. And I've kind of gone the whole spectrum on like I've been really broke. I was in advertising. I was in $80,000 of student debt, and I was making $40,000 when I started a year, which was I thought a lot until the student loans hit, and then I got up to $110,000 at my advertising career before I quit. And so for me, I kind of just had this like idea. I'm like, oh, I want to make X and X amount of money, and I don't know. It was just kind of one of those things where I've made pretty good money doing real estate education. I've got several businesses. I've got like my cost egg business. I've got an interior design business. I've got content. I've got affiliates. And after kind of going through my own personal arc, yeah, I'm getting profound here. Maybe I should take another sip to really think this
Should
out.
I
But
will too. I will
mm,
too.
as I've kind of gone through my whole arc here and what I've liked, what I found was I was making $110,000 and at my job, and then I started consulting on the side when my channel started taking off, and I was charging up to $500 an hour, and I was making an extra $20,000 to $30,000 a year. Sorry, a month on top of my job, and that to me was when I was like, "Holy shit! I am actually like, I think I'm rich." You know, that's how I felt because I was basically tripling my income 4 extra hours a day. And then I launched my education business and I 5x'd my salary um, in the same year, basically doing that. And that was the happiest I ever was financially because it was the first time that I had kind of taken off to the moon salary wise. I went from 100K to a lot more than that. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is what it's like to be wealthy. And since then, I've actually made more money, but the happiness has not increased at all whatsoever. And so these days, being an entrepreneur and making a lot of money, sorry, not a lot, but like making money with all my companies and everything like that, you get into a very different space where you have to pay employees, you have to think about letting go employees if you don't hit your projections, you have to think about the toll that it takes to actually make a company work. And so now that I've kind of reached this place where I'm grinding for all these companies that I'm building, I'm like, is it worth it? Because every night I see my kids as I tuck them in and as I get them ready for bed, they're playing with wooden toys. We buy them wooden cars. We don't buy like things with lights and noises. That's on the birthday cards. We're like, please, nothing with batteries. So our kids only have wooden toys, and my kids are really fucking happy. They have no idea whether I'm poor or I'm rich, and they don't care. The only person that cares is me. And so I've kind of had this like revelation in the last couple of weeks where I'm like, what am I doing this for? I'm working all night and my kids meanwhile are happy with playing with like wooden blocks basically. So I think conscious wealth basically means how can you actually have the lifestyle that you want without getting into the mess of like true entrepreneurial stress. And that's where I'm trying to work towards is like, how do I cut all of the complicated stuff I have to basically get to an income that allows me to do anything I want, like go on vacation, go to Chipotle every single day, go eat sushi with my wife whenever I want. And when you really think about that, it's not that much money. So I think it's like yeah, I think it's more like being conscious of the fact that like if you're making money, it's taking away what's important to you. For me, it's family. So it's like what's that balance between giving my family everything they've ever dreamed of, but actually spending time with them. And at this point, I make enough. I've surpassed that and I'm trying to actually scale back to a point where I still feel rich relative to where I was when I was working a 9 to 5 job. So I don't know. I think it's being conscious of like how much money can you make to still live an enjoyable life and not regret the time that you don't spend from your family. I guess I could have just said that, but it took a while to get there
No,
and
I
see.
like the color. I like the color that you added to it. No,
Yeah.
that's